Hi guys. Oh, okay, here's where we're at. I had to put a second coat on the big boy, his face. It looked really streaky and I wasn't happy with it. So a second coat was called for, and now I am measuring resin to mix up. I have my red and my black inks that I'm going to use to color it. And I just poured part A. And I'm ready to pour part B. I have my heater going in here, so hopefully it'll warm up a little bit. This is a new resin for me. This is Clearcast 7000. This is not the Alumilite stuff. And this is what it looks like. It's the same deal. Part A, part B, 1-to-1 ratio. It is still excuse me, I'm telling you what, today I woke up sneezing and my face feels like it's swollen and ready to explode. Okay, with resin, one side is always thicker than the other. So in this one part, hold on, I gotta look. Part A was thicker than part B. Part B runs kind of thin like water. Part A runs clear but looks like honey. If your resin gets real thick on you because you're in a cold climate, put it in a warm water, a bowl of warm water, and let it warm up a little bit. Give it like 15 minutes in a bowl of warm water, and heat it up that way. Don't put it in the microwave. Don't put it in a pot of hot water on the stove. It just needs a little bit of warm water, that's all. If you have a huge volume of resin, you might be able to put it in a crock pot filled with warm water and let it just warm that way, but I've never had to go to that length, even where I live where it's cold and horrible. So, you know, you just want to be careful with it. Wear gloves. It will get everywhere. I've already got it on my hands. No matter how careful I am, it gets on my hands. Now I'm just going to stir it. I've got it in this cup here. I'm going to stir it. Try not to like whip it like you're making an omelet, but get it stirred. Make sure you scrape the sides, scrape the bottom. This resin, I'm not the most familiar with it. It says mix equal parts by volume. Pour resin into hardener and stir well. Whoops, I did that backwards. And stir well for 3 to 5 minutes, scraping the sides and the bottom of the cup. Let stand in mixed container for 5 minutes to allow bubbles to rise to the surface. Okay. In this instance, I don't care about the bubbles because I'm pouring it on the scalps. If it were jewelry, I would let it degas for the 5 minutes that they recommend. I absolutely would. You can also, if you find you have a lot of bubbles, you can also hit it with a heat torch in a heat tool or a torch, a barbecue lighter, a flame. You can use a straw and breathe through the straw. It'll pop the bubbles. There's so many ways to get rid of the bubbles. So don't let that stress you. But I'm stirring it. And I'm scraping the sides. I don't like these cups because of these ridges, because I always feel like I'm going to miss resin that's in there. And if these don't set, it's going to make, when resin doesn't set, it's a goopy, gory, gross mess. You cannot clean it up. Now, to clean resin, you can use 91% isopropyl alcohol. You can use pure acetone. You can use, I've heard somebody say they used vinegar. I have never used vinegar, so I don't know. Okay, we got us a good bit of resin poured. I have red Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay Red India ink. I've already shook it up to make sure that it's good to go. And I'm going to pour, let me tip you down. It's easier for you to see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to pour that much. That is really all I'm going to need. I might need to use some of the acrylic paint because this ends up being very transparent. I don't want this blood to be completely transparent. So, I mean, like you could see my stick through the cup. I don't really want that. I want it to be bloody colored. I have black Dr. Bombay. It's not Dr. Bombay. It's Dr. P.H. Martin's. Every time I see it, though, I think of Bewitched with Dr. Bombay. 2 drops of that. This ink goes a long, long, long way when it comes. I mean, look at that. 2 drops. That's all I put in there. It goes a long way when it comes to this. I am getting happy with the color, but like I said, look how transparent it is on my stick. I don't want it that transparent. So I am going to add a dollop of my paint. About that much. And I'm going to paint that in. I'm painting that in next. Now when you add acrylic paint to resin, resin and water don't mix. Water will make the resin glop up and not set. So you add the very smallest amount you can get away with when you're adding water. And when you're adding acrylic paint. Or ink, or anything, and don't mix it with oil paints because there's oil. The oil in the oil paints will not let the resin set. There'll be a chemical reaction and it will be disastrous for you. Okay, see how much better that looks now? And you saw how much I added. I did not add a crap ton. I just added a dollop. Let me put my ink away, and I'm going to put my resin in the floor so as I can bring the big boy over. And I'm going to throw this cup away because I bought a whole bunch of measuring cups for my resin. Okay, so he is dressed. Isn't he just delightful? I still have to glue his hair on. You guys were letting me talk last night like, all I gotta do is do this and do that and then he's done and all this. No, I have to do his stupid hair. You know, a heads up, hey, don't forget you gotta do his stupid hair. Would have been nice. Okay, here's the one. Now, when I set this in his lap, I want it draped over his arm, kinda. You know, like, I'll show you. I will pick you up and show you. And then I want this one to be done the same, and I want a hunk of hair, like, attached to his hand, like that. So I'm going to pick you up. Pardon the zoom in. Zoom, zoom, zoom. But that's kind of what I'm going for. See? This is over his hand. And then that is over that hand. Does it help if I set you? Well, no, not really, because the window is that way. So let me move my paint. I don't know what I just dropped. Probably my brush. Oh, dear you guys. Let me scoot him over this way. I just got to keep him on this mat. And let me move you guys over that away. I could tip you up a little bit. There. Perfect. Okay. Now, my technical term is I'm going to fling a little bit because he scalped people. You know, he's going to have blood like friggin' everywhere. So we're flinging him. And I'm going to paint his hand with it. I want it all over that hand. And then that hunk of hair is going to go right in there. And that will be glued forever until somebody cuts that hair out. This is going to be the same. I'll move that out of the way. This is going to be the same. I'm going to put some resin up on that hand. And I'm going to get it all over as much as I can. And I'm going to put that hair there. Okay. Now, we are going to, I'm going to pour. And I'm going to take a brush because I can wash my brush after. I just want to find a crappy brush just in case. You know what? I have these. I bought a crap ton of these and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I thought, oh, hey, those might come in handy, and they have not yet come in handy. So I guess now this is they're coming in handy, huh? I'm going to pour this where it's puddling. I'm going to put it where I want it to go, and I am going to let it puddle too. I mean, I want it thick, or else why do it? But I also want it to give the gloss to the whole thing. Like, tuck that in. I don't know that I want that in front. See why I said it didn't matter too much? If you were able to get the paint exactly right, because this resin is going to cover a multitude of sins. Paint didn't look good to me, but it looks pretty good now. And it's going to dry just as shiny as it is right now. So with resin, it doesn't change much at all. Once it's dry from when it's wet, it looks glassy and glossy and gorgeous. And FYI, I have got it already on my table. You probably can't see, but it's already on my table. It's right here. And I don't care. It'll peel right up when I'm done. There's going to be big puddle of it underneath him. And I'm okay with that too. I am getting it on his feet. I'm getting it on his legs. These scalps will, for all intents and purposes, be glued to him when I'm done. So, yeah. I want to fling some resin onto the hair because I'm thinking, it would have areas where it's also, stuck and gross and all that. So I'm going to put some right there because why not? We can. Like right there, I want some. It's just a kind of a put it where you think it needs to go and go with it. In my mind, he would be like almost completely bloodied and gross. To be perfectly honest, I don't think they would have had these fancy gold belts and things when they went hunting for whatever they were hunting for, but I'm not taking the thing apart just to fix that. That ain't happening. I'm liking it. I like it. And if, like, for instance, the sprays on his face, if they're not dark enough when they dry, you can go back in with paint and paint over it. You just won't, you'll lose that glossy depth look. So, I made a lot of blood. I don't think I quite needed this much blood. But that's okay, because I'm going to pull. Don't give me a hard time, mister. I'm going to pull this down, put some blood on his arm. That's going to hold that sleeve down. because you can see the dull body underneath, and I don't like that. I want it to be a little more seamless. You can see it on this side too, and there's nothing I could do about it. And because this resin will find its own gravity, you don't really even have to worry about you just have to make sure that you're dripping it in the right angle. Like however it's dripping, that's how it's going to go. And it's going to look stupid if you have it, like if I had it left his foot tipped that way and I dripped this on there, he would have sideways drips. You don't want sideways drips, you know? And I want it to puddle under him. The puddling is what is going to hold everything together and make it one piece. Like I said, this resin is going to act like my glue. And it's going to hold everything where I want it. I gotta lean in and look a little bit. I can't see. And I don't want to get too close because I will get this all over me. And I didn't wear my jacket, so I can't zip it up. Because I figured I was going to be in here like I was last night. And I did not want to suffocate myself like I did last night. I got it so hot in here with that space heater that I was dying. This sponge soaks up a lot of resin. Let me wipe some of that out. This is why I don't like sponge brushes. They soak up so much of the product that you lose 10-20% of what you're using. I just poured that on his face because I accidentally bumped it with the cup, so. Get some under there, glue that down, get some there, glue that down, glue that down. I don't want that popping up. Make it look like he's got a winky. I'm wiping it off on the hair. That's it, guys. Done. Done with that. Let me take my glove off because I do have resin all over myself. Now I'm going to leave that to dry. I'm going to leave the cup to dry. I'm going to leave the doll to dry. Oh, I am going to leave it all to dry until I can touch it. With this resin, I believe I can touch it 12 hours, I want to say. You can touch it and it won't stick to you, but if you push on it, you'll leave a mark. So 24 hours is the cure time, 100% cured, where it's hard and glossy. I'm about ready to put my elbow into it. Then I'm going to go back in and I am probably going to splatter some of the actual like acrylic paint blood because I like the different textures. The acrylic paint will dry like a satin color, a satin finish, And the resin dries a gloss finish, so I like the difference in textures, difference in sheens, excuse me, not textures. So that's where we're at. I think he looks awesome. His hair is right here waiting to be put on. I am going to have to maybe spend a few minutes trying to clean that up a little bit because it looks a hot mess. We'll see. I think he's great. And I'm excited to get his hair on. I want him to be done. And I have to start doing clay work for the Voodoo Priestess. So I don't know if I'm going to have another video for you guys for a day or two. I'm not going to video gluing his hair down because really it's glue and you put the hair on. But I'll post pictures of him all finished on Facebook, and then I'll figure out which doll we're doing next. I have quite a few to choose from. I have some what the heck is this stuff called? Cheesecloth. That's what it is. Cheesecloth. Brain fart. I have some cheesecloth, and I really, really, really want to do a mummy doll. I don't know how it's going to work. I wrapped that ugly, stupid gorilla doll. It's not supposed to be a gorilla, but that's what it ended up looking like. I don't ever want to make that mistake again, but I do want to make a mummy doll eventually. I might play around with some of that and see what comes with it. I want to finish the Voodoo Priestess. There's so many dolls that I want to make. And I have another Indian doll just like this one, only with a light beige outfit instead of the dark brown. Got to figure out something to do with him. I'm thinking Native American legend. I don't know. We'll see. But right now, that's where we're at. I've got to figure out what I want to do next. And I'm trying to get this moving fast. So join me next time within a day or two for sure. I can't go that long without doing something. So within a day or two, join me. Please click like, please click subscribe, and send your friends on over. I'll make coffee. And we will make gruesome babies together. Thanks. Bye-bye.